For decades, LGBTQ Americans served in the U.S. military with courage, discipline, and loyalty. But behind the medals and uniforms, many lived in constant fear. They trained beside their comrades, marched in formation, saluted the same flag, and risked their lives for the same country. Yet their love, their identity, and even their private thoughts were treated as threats to national security. Before the 1990s, military policy was brutally clear. If you were gay, lesbian, or bisexual, you could not serve. The military discharged more than 16,000 LGBTQ service members between 1980 and 1993 alone. Investigators raided off-base bars, interrogated soldiers about their friendships, and inspected letters and journals. A single rumor, a single complaint, or a single photo could end a career. Then came 1993, and a policy that promised hope, but delivered humiliation. President Bill Clinton, under intense pressure from Congress and the Pentagon, signed a compromise called Don't Ask, Don't Tell DADT. The idea seemed simple. The military would no longer ask about a service member's sexual orientation. And in return, service members were forbidden to tell anyone about it. No disclosure, no honesty, no truth. Supporters celebrated it as progress. Opponents called it betrayal. But for LGBTQ+ troops, it became the beginning of a new nightmare. Under DADT, you could serve as long as you hid everything: your relationships, your home life, your voice, your gestures, your photos, your emails, your existence. A slip of the tongue could end your career. A vindictive coworker could destroy your life. Within the first decade of the policy, the military expelled over 10,000 service members. He was discharged within a month. Stories like his were everywhere: the Navy, in the Air Force, in the Marines, even among military academies. Some were expelled after being outed by family or partners. Others were betrayed by friends. Some faced harassment so relentless that leaving felt like the only escape. Women often suffered even more. The military had long targeted lesbian service members disproportionately. A single rumor could spiral into an investigation. Many women were threatened with discharge if they refused advances from male soldiers. DADT didn't fix this. In many cases, it made it worse. Meanwhile, America was fighting two major wars, Afghanistan and Iraq, and LGBTQ troops remained on the front lines, carrying their secrets into the desert, into the mountains, into combat. They saved lives, they earned medals. Some gave their lives for a country that refused to acknowledge them. Even in death, partners often were not notified or allowed to attend ceremonies because officially the relationship did not exist. By 2009, public opinion had shifted dramatically. Surveys showed that nearly 70% of Americans believed LGBTQ+ people should be allowed to serve openly. Even military opinion transformed by 2010. 70% of service members surveyed said that serving with openly gay troops had either positive or no impact on the mission. The turning point came with the real-life story of Air Force Major Margaret Witt. With 2 decades of service, Witt had been a model officer until she was discharged under DADT. She sued and won. A federal judge ruled that her removal harmed morale and undermined her unit's effectiveness. Her case shattered the central argument used to defend DADT. Congress finally repealed the policy in 2010. And on September 20, 2011, Don't Ask, Don't Tell officially ended. For thousands, it was liberation. For many, it was too late. The repeal did not erase the trauma. Members who had been expelled lost benefits, pensions, careers, and sometimes even families. Their records still listed homosexual conduct as a cause for discharge. Many lived with shame and anger, feeling abandoned by the country they had sworn to protect. But the end of DADT also marked the beginning of something new. LGBTQ+ service members could finally be seen. They could walk onto bases with their partners, they could place family photos on their desks, they could live with the dignity they always deserved. Across the nation, service members discharged under DADT began returning to bases, to ceremonies, to reunions, no longer as shadows, but as veterans who sacrificed the nation could finally acknowledge. The policy that once forced silence had itself been silenced. And for the first time in American military history, love, any love, was no longer a crime.